What's up guys, NepentheZ here and welcome back to another episode of The Road to Glory. Today we have got 35 minutes of flat gameplay. Now, spoiler alert, so I'm going to give away the results for the weekend just as we go on here. So if you don't want to know, mute for like the next 30 seconds. I promise you won't miss anything else other than me asking for likes. If you guys could drop a like on the video, that'd be awesome. You've shown incredible support this whole year round on The Road to Glory. I never expected it to be nearly this successful. I'd never expected it to maintain the viewership that it has done, and I massively appreciate the support you guys have given. Now, I finished this weekend league, guys, 28-8, which isn't too bad. 3 weekends ago, I finished 18-8, and that's when I first started taking it not seriously. Last weekend I went 25-4. What you're seeing here is gameplay up to me being 21-3. That's right, I went from 21-3 to 28-8. So I only won 7 and lost 5. And the problem was, on the last games, is that I was actually 25-5, which I was very happy with. 25-5 is great. But my problem was, again, is that I overplayed FIFA. I think I finished 14-2 on Saturday. So I played from 14-2 to 28-8 on Sunday, which is what, 14 wins and 6 losses. So I played 20 games on Sunday, and at the back end of that is where I couldn't stay composed. And again, it takes me back to that whole situation of me not being able to deal with the mental side of FIFA for a long period of time. You know, after I played through like 8 or 9 games, I went from 14-2 to 21-3. Which was 8 games. I then went to 25-5, and I could feel myself going down, and I did a lot of it on stream. And I was playing against dudes. Some dudes were decent and whooped me because I couldn't stay composed, and some dudes were pretty average or worse and managed to either give me real tough games or sneak wins against me because I could just feel myself playing bad. So I don't know what that means for next month, because next month, of course, if we finish elite, we can get into the team of the season packs. So I do want to start finishing elite again next month. The reason why I pushed on from 25-5 to try and get 28 wins was because I'm actually at a point now where, even though I haven't taken this weekend league seriously this month, I can actually still get elite for the month, which I'm very, very surprised at. I was currently on, when I got to 25 wins, I needed another 29 wins to get elite for the month. So I thought to myself, let me just push on to 28. Now I only need 26 wins next weekend league to get elite for the month. So if I do have another weekend league where I get to like 20 wins with only 3 or 4 losses, I'll push on and pick up elite 3 for the month. Failing that, I will get gold 1 for the month without even trying, which I'm more than happy with. It's not necessarily a monthly reward set that I'm overly interested in, because the informs are going to be eclipsed by current team of the seasons. But generally speaking, I've enjoyed taking a month break, and I could feel myself. I was explaining to people on stream, that's what happens to me when I try and force 40 games in, is that because for me 10 games a day is ideal. Any more than 10 and I can feel myself deteriorating mentally, you know, with like, I get FIFA tired is what I would say. So 10 games a day is fine. So for me to fit in the extra 10 games somewhere, I'm gonna take losses and get angry at taking those losses somewhere down the line. It just depends whether it's, you know, the Friday if I force more games in, the Sunday if I force lots of games in. But I've shown the last couple of weeks that I could quite comfortably get elite 3 without even trying. You know, I was 25-4 last week. I could very easily gone and got 4 more wins. 25-5 this week. I went and got 3 more wins, and I still had 4 games left. So I could easily have got to elite 3, which for me will be important for that team of the season pack. Now, lots of comments from the previous videos. If I get redder and redder throughout this video as well, guys, it's because it's so hot in this room right now. I really need to get like proper air conditioning sorted out. Lots of comments, lots of very good, very valuable comments, and lots to do on the account as well. The reason why I played some games on stream, and the reason why specifically you're not seeing them, is because I don't want to get caught behind on gameplay. So if you tune into my streams are pretty much explicitly Road to Glory. Whether it be clearing the club out, playing games, building squads, doing packs, bronze packs or whatever, it's pretty much Road to Glory. So if you do want to see the games that I don't show here, just go to twitch.tv/NepentheZ. There's a video tab. You can click on it. You can watch my past broadcasts. Some streamers set that to subscribers only to watch past broadcasts. I don't. I leave it open to anyone. So if you did want to go and watch it, you can feel free. Now, the first comment is from Darius Tomlinson. Says, hey Nep, I believe that the kickoff glitch could have been added deliberately by EA to be more realistic. When teams score, they're actually more likely to concede. I'm not sure why, but it has been proven, so maybe EA added this to be realistic. I didn't understand what you said, what you were talking about that has been proven. It hasn't been proven that EA added this for realism. Please give your thoughts on this, as I think it should be removed if FIFA is going to become an esport. Also, I think that they should have a new draft mode where you make a new team every round. Love your videos, keep up the good work. I mean, in terms of the draft thing that you're talking about, I disagree. I don't think they should have a draft mode where you have to build a new team every round. I think that just overcomplicates a very fun feature in the game. In terms of what you're saying about the kickoff thing, it's not something they could just remove because they didn't put it there. I think you're looking at it wrong. I think a lot of people are trying to subscribe to this notion that every time something goes wrong, EA have deliberately done it to try and screw over one party or another. They get no benefit out of screwing over anyone or any way, because if they did get a benefit out of it, no one would ever go 40-0. And if for those that say, oh well, they can beat the AIDS, if EA didn't want people to go 40-0 and they had things in the game to stop people from winning, trust in the fact that they would then stop those people one way or another from going 40-0. So I think people look at it the wrong way when they look at EA putting things purposefully in the game that screw people. And I think that's what you've done here, because if you think back to the old FIFAs, 14, 15 and 16, in each of those FIFAs there was a bug at kickoff. FIFA 14 was a KSI kickoff glitch. You'd pass it, you'd do an LBY pass, your player would run through, you'd pass it back to the cam, you'd chip it over the top, and the guy running through would pick up the ball and tap it in the back of the net. It was broken, eventually they managed to fix it. In FIFA 15, it was the long shot kickoff glitch that was popularised by AA9 skills. You literally just had to kick off, tap it forwards, and if the guy on the edge, like the centre circle of your opponent, didn't get to you in time, you could just shoot and it would just sail over the keeper's head into the back of the net. In FIFA 16, it was the zigzag kickoff glitch. You would literally kick off, run diagonally towards the throw-in line. As soon as you got to where the fullback was, depending on which way diagonally you run, you just turned in and run diagonally the other way. And then you could either shimmy and cut it back or run inside and score across the goal. Like, every year there's been something at kickoff, and EA aren't putting this in to make it realistic. It's just flaws within the game engine. It's just problems within the game. It's broken game mechanics. That's all it is. I don't know why people think that EA would add something into the game for people to score from kickoff. And if you look at like the amount of goals I score here, like, just keep an eye on all my games, right? Or like don't have to document it or anything, but just keep a general eye on all this gameplay here. There are way more circumstances where goals do not get scored from kickoff than when they do get scored from kickoff. I would say less than 5% of my overall goals are a result of a goal immediately coming from a kickoff, which means it's not even an issue. It's only an issue when it's I tried to explain this a lot. When you're in a close game against someone of an equal or very similar skill level to you, that's when your decision making and AI errors are absolutely critical. If you make the wrong decision, your opponent could win because you screwed up. That doesn't necessarily mean you're the worst player. It just means that you made a mistake and he capitalized and you couldn't capitalize. But if you don't make a mistake and you lose because the AI made an error, that's so hard for people to take on board and sit there and say, okay, that was a game error that I lost because of, not because of skill or human error, and that's all there is to it. What people would rather believe is, oh, EA wanted me to lose this game. There was no other alternative here than me losing the game. I just don't believe that that's something that's in the game. I don't believe that to be true. But I would love to hear your guys' opinions on the kickoff glitch in the comment section below. Nia Cat says, Net be like team. This is brilliant. I love this. I genuinely laughed at this. Team of the season of Valencia is basically the same as 86 Coleman, who's basically the same as Angel Rangel, who's basically the same as Callum Chambers, who is not that far off from 63 rated Aina, who is basically gold stats if you look at his in-game. So I could just play with this full bronze team and not need to buy any team of the season. Now, I understand where you're coming from. And there was another comment as well. Where is it? Because it was important. It was important because it was the same. Yeah. So also from Martin Angelov. He says, you won't upgrade your attackers since the ones you have are quite good at the upgrade and the upgrade is minimal. You won't upgrade your defense since your current one is not that different the ones you want eventually. Same goes for the midfield. Dude, upgrade them and have some fun with new players. You've proven to everyone that you can achieve with a Road to Glory account. Spend the coins now and have some fun. With that rate, you won't buy Team of the Season players until 1 week before FIFA 18. Enjoy the game, buddy, and keep up the great work what you're doing. I appreciate the kind words, but my whole point is, right now, I feel like I sometimes I don't explain myself properly when I talk about things. Like sometimes in my mind, like I know what I'm talking about on the grand scheme of things, but I don't always like vocalize it perfectly. So when I was comparing Coleman to Valencia and to Walker, Coleman's stats like legitimately aren't that far off, and you would see some Team of the Seasons with worse stats than that 86 Coleman this year. So my point wasn't that Coleman's almost as good as Valencia or Walker, so there's no point getting them. My point genuinely was, right now, because of how hyped the BPL prices are, I think they're just way too expensive right now. There's no point in me upgrading yet because I won't get value for money. That's what I was getting at. I don't think spending 270,000 coins on Walker or 220,000 coins on Valencia will see that much of a significant increase to my right back slot than just using Bellerin or Coleman. So that was kind of what I was getting at. However, if they dropped to a reasonable price and then in turn a price where I don't think they'll necessarily drop that much more so I won't lose too much coins on them, I would go and buy them. If Valencia dropped to around 150 or Walker to around 180, 200, I would be like, okay, now I'm happy to go and buy this card because it's an upgrade and it's not so costly that it's going to make a huge dent in my coins, and also it's not so expensive that even any amount of depreciation loses me a lot of coins. So that was my bad on not explaining that so well. I want to upgrade my team. I really do. But what I've noticed is, first and foremost, the Premier League players, as I say, are just way too expensive. Way more expensive than I considered they would be. Some of them are quite cheap. They are, generally speaking, dropping in price. I feel like on Thursday when the rewards are out, they will drop more. And then Friday for the new Team of the Season, they will drop even more. But generally speaking right now, they're just a little bit out of a price range that I would be happy paying. And with that, because no other league is as popular as the Premier League this year, all the other Team of the Seasons, the major ones that get released, League One, Calcio A, La Liga and Bundesliga, there will be players of a very similar quality that will be a fraction of the price of the current Premier League Team of the Season. A Lewandowski, an Aubameyang, I don't know, a midfielder from the La Liga, you know, like, I don't know who's going to be in Team of the Season, a Casemiro, something like that. They will be so much cheaper because they're not as desirable. What I would rather do is, I've got such a sick Premier League team now that if I just wait to upgrade the players that I really want to upgrade when they're more cost effective, and in the meantime spend those coins that I've got now on the current upcoming Team of the Seasons, I think I'll have much more fun this year. You know, I've had a Premier League team for basically the whole year. It would be so much more fun, in my opinion, and I think you guys would agree, if actually I built some new teams over the coming weeks instead of just upgrading the Premier League team. Because I can just upgrade the Premier League team. I can just upgrade the Premier League team, get some of the beast Premier League players, and then not have much for the rest of Team of the Season. And that means I'll be forced to use the team, won't really have much else going on, and the series will become way stale, way quick, in my opinion. So I definitely will start playing with Team of the Season players, but I've learned so many lessons this year with, you know, wrong investments, right investments, not investing in things that should have, you know, did pay off, SBCs, foot champs. Like, I've learned so much from it that I don't want to just go out there and buy a whole bunch of Premier League players, have them drop 30 or 40% over the next 2 weeks and lose another million coins. You know what I mean? I've done that way too many times this year with buying even just David De Gea and who is Sergio Ramos. We throughout the year, I've bought and sold Sergio Ramos so many times that just off of depreciation and tax alone, it would have been more cost effective for me to just buy him once and then never sell him again. I would have more coins right now than I do currently, because I bought him and sold him, so I lost the tax and a bit of a depreciation. Bought him and sold him again, bought him and sold him again, bought him and sold him again, like 4 or 5 times. I ended up losing about 140,000 coins on a player just because I purchased him and sold him so many times. So I don't want to do that. I don't want to go and buy like a player that I'd really love, like Alonso, for 270,000 coins, and then in a week time he's 200,000 coins, and I'm sitting there like, why didn't I just wait one more week? And if their player prices don't come down, if I'm wrong and they don't depreciate on Thursday and Friday, they're not going up in value, that's for sure. So I think what I'm doing right now is probably for the best of the series, even if it's not what I specifically want to do. I do think it's for the best of the series. Ben Harris says, Nep, if you worked at EA Sports, what would you change about for FIFA 18? Love the content and gutted you couldn't play in the charity match. And there was also another comment about a charity match. Sub2T10 says, Nep, wasn't you supposed to be at the Cyberman match? I didn't see you. I was supposed to be there. Unfortunately, I couldn't make it this year. I just didn't have time to get there. I was otherwise engaged until about 3 o'clock in the afternoon on a Sunday. And I didn't have enough time to drive up to London before the match kicked off. What I was supposed to be doing, what I did do this Sunday, actually was supposed to happen next Sunday, but it got moved forward a week. So that was unfortunate, but real life circumstances sometimes come underway. It's really, really unfortunate that it fell on the same day for me. It's just, it was unusual. But what would I change for FIFA 18? So there's quite a lot I would like changed for FIFA 18. We've talked about things here and there over the course of the year, actually over the course of many years, what we would like. What I would most like is to know what the stats do in reflection to what they say they are. I would like EA to openly address issues within the game, rather than just hide under the cover and tell like it's such a big deal that they have to address the issue. I would like them to explain how matchmaking works. And what I would most change is every big game has an express mode game, a smaller version of it. And I'm mainly talking about sports titles. Like NBA has the like the 1v1 court thing. NHL was already just a short, like small game anyway. But generally speaking, like I would love a 5-a-side or a 3-a-side or an indoor game mode in FIFA 18 where it's online, in a sense that I can either play with a whole team by myself against your team, for example, or I could play on a team with some other people against another team with some other people. So quite like pro clubs where you just control one player, but you control your player, and there's no AI control players, it's just all human players. I think that would be way loads of fun. I really think it'd be loads of fun. Some other things that I would like to see would be the fact that we have something in this game called in-game stats is mind-numbing. Like, why do I have to literally be in a game and have to go to the pause menu in a game to know what the stats of my players actually are? It just doesn't make sense. Have a tab. When I click on the player, when I right through on the player and I see his skill moves and his weak foot, and I can right bumper and see like his fitness and his contracts and his pace, and like it gives the card stats there. Let me right bumper again and show me his in-game stats, his traits and his specialities. Why the hell not? Why don't we have this as a feature? It bugs me a lot that I can't compare in-game stats, because you could have a situation where you have, let's say you've got 2 midfielders and you don't know which one you prefer. They're both 6 foot tall. They both have high medium work rates. They're both 4-star, 4-star. One of them has, say, 85 passing and one of them has 89 passing. But when you compare them, the guy with 85 passing has 95 short passing and 95 long passing, but no curve, no free kicks and no vision. And then the guy with like 88 passing or 90 passing actually only has like 80 for short passing and 80 for long passing. I want to know that just by comparing them. I don't want to have to sit there and pause the game or go to an external website to check this out. I want to be able to see it in the game. I think that would be pretty awesome. There was actually something suggested on Reddit today as well that I think would be a pretty cool feature to have, and that's seeing how much you paid for SBC cards. When you trade in play, like basically a running total of the cards that you put in and the value that they had there and then, so you could see that at the time that you did the SBC card, how much was it actually worth. I would love to know that, because I was on stream, I was showing a lot of my SBC cards, and a lot that, and in fact on the last video, a lot that I regretted doing, a lot that I wish I didn't do, a lot that I wish I just didn't, or a lot that I won't do next year. And on stream, we figured it out to somewhere around a total of 4 to 5 million coins of SBC cards that I've got that I don't use or that I didn't actually need. Now that we're at Team of the Season, hindsight is a wonderful thing, but I would much prefer the 4 to 5 million coins than the 100 games that I played on Fernando Torres that cost me 700,000 coins. You know what I mean? I played 116 games with him, or 160 games, or something like that. But I can't remember exactly, either 116 or 160 or 130 or something like that. But 130 games for 800,000 coins, no player is worth that. No player. 800,000, no player in the game. And Torres is an amazing finisher. And yeah, he scored some great goals, and there was a time where I was like, damn, this man is the most clinical finisher in the game. But he was a useless purchase for me, because he didn't fit my main team, and I had to force him into teams and build brand new teams that I didn't enjoy just to use him, which doesn't make any sense. And there was a comment on, there was a comment again from, where are we at? Georgie Mina, he says, how can you say Ibra wasn't worth it when he was your favourite card at one point? Just wondering, because I don't understand. And it's a very fair question, and this again takes me back to what I said earlier. Sometimes in my mind I know what I'm talking about, but I don't vocalise it perfectly. So what I've learned a lot this year, more than any year, because I've learned so much about FIFA and about how the game works and the output of players and value versus effectiveness, what I've learned is that coins for upgraded cards are important, but upgrading the right card at the right time is more important. And although I would consider Zlatan Ibrahimovic one of the most clinical finishers I've used on the game this year, and although I did thoroughly enjoy him, and in fact he single-handedly changed my own playstyle within the game, because he's so tall that I started playing differently from goal kicks and stuff. I started like feeding it up to the attacker. I played basically a different style of FIFA with a big man up front compared to a speedster. So for me, Zlatan Ibrahimovic was great for that. But if you look at the goals and assists per game ratio that he is not outstandingly more or less than anybody else that I've used this year in FIFA. Anybody else. You know, it's not like... In fact, for me personally, Romelu Lukaku is the only player that is consistently scoring and assisting game in, game out, game in. Like, Ibra's got about 400 odd games and 300 odd goal and assists to his name. Lukaku has like 250 games and well in excess of 350 goals and assists in that amount of games. So my point is, next year, when I see that Ibra and his, oh my god, a 92 Ibra, his name is up there in shining lights and everyone's like, you should do him, screw it. And I'm sitting there with my coins and I'm thinking, wow, man, like, look how many coins I've got and I'm making coins so easily anyway. Why not do him? I'm going to think back to this time this year and I'm going to think to myself, no, because if I didn't do Ibrahimovic, now I spent about over 700,000 for Ibra, not more than 800,000, but more than 700,000 because I bought the actual Ibrahimovic card for 630,000 coins. So, and you obviously had to trade in Ibra as one of the 4 things that you had to do for him. So it was around 700,000 to 800,000 coins that he cost me for a player that if I'd actually have just used Anthony Martial or kept the player of the month Son at left forward and the left forward Eden Hazard at striker, because of the output that I got from Ibra, as fun as he was to use, the output that I got was no more better than players that I already had in the club or players that I could have bought off the market for far less, like substantially less money, and then been able to sell on. So I basically traded in 700,000 to 800,000 coins for a guy that was just fun to use for a bit, but was untradeable. And that's what I mean by, even though he was one of my favourite cards this year, I won't do that again next year. The sort of players I'll do again next year are the sort of players like Sterling, Player of the Month Son first and Player of the Month Son second, because the Player of the Month Son right now is like 150. You get 120,000 coins worth of packs back, and you get a player that legitimately has better stats all round than Cristiano Ronaldo and is an absolute monster in this game. They're the kind of players that I'll do for the untradables, and the League SBCs I'll do as well, because the League SBCs are generally so cheap because you get all the packs back and you can pick up the players and grind for the players over time that it doesn't really cost you that much to do those ones. So because of that, I'll do the League SBCs again next year if EA have them. But in terms of player SBCs, I'm really going to cut out the number of player SBCs that I do unless the player is a substantial upgrade for a cost-effective price and they fit the team that I have. I will do them. But if they don't, if they're not a substantial upgrade, and if they're a little bit expensive, and if they just don't fit my team, I won't do them. Fernando Torres and El Shaarawy are prime examples. El Shaarawy cost me like 400,000 coins. Fernando Torres around 700,000 coins, if I remember correctly. That's 1.1 million coins for two players that I've got no more than 200 games on. That same 1.1 million coins could go and buy me Team of the Season Alexis Sanchez now. And that would be a Team of the Season Alexis Sanchez. If I didn't enjoy him or I didn't want him anymore, I could sell him and recoup most of those coins, if not more, if his price had increased. So I think next year, as I say, I'm just going to be far more vigilant with the players that I use and make sure that they get upgrades. And, the SBC cards, they're a lot of fun. They are a lot of fun. But they really have limited me this year because I've been forced to go Premier League where possible all the time. And because of that, all the other SBCs that I did from other leagues, I'm not using because I haven't invested anything in those. So if I were to use Torres and Suarez, two things happen. Number one, I now have to go and buy a really good La Liga team that would be comparable to my Premier League team, which would cost me a crap ton of money because my Premier League team is so good. And number two, I would then not be using all the Premier League SBCs that I've done, that I've invested literally millions of coins and hundreds of hours into this game to pick those guys up. They'd just be sitting there as dead weight. So I've learned some big lessons from that this year, and that's why I would say, like, someone like Ibra, someone like Torres, even the Player of the Month Harry Kane, I won't do them next year. Lukaku for me was such a big upgrade because we tried his 84. I thoroughly enjoyed his 84. I packed his 86. I thoroughly enjoyed his 86. So when his 90 came about, and I've made so much good investments on him that I actually didn't really. He only cost me like 200,000 coins for the Romelu Lukaku. That's a big upgrade that I'm interested in, because worst case scenario, I've got a 200,000 coin player sitting there that I can't do anything with other than using another SBC. But best case scenario, I haven't really spent that many coins on a guy that could be God tier, and he was. So there are a couple of players I've done right with. Sterling was one of them. Hazard was one of them. Son was one of them. Both versions of Son. Romelu Lukaku, another one. Those five dudes were great. Costa is another player that I don't regret doing because we played over 700 games with Diego Costa, and he's been very good for me, right? He has been good for me, but I would have done just the same if instead of playing Diego Costa, I was playing Kevin De Bruyne or Paul Pogba. Again, a tradable player instead. I spent over 600,000 coins on Costa, if I remember correctly. And I literally play him now because I spent so much coins on him and because I use a Premier League team. I would rather use him than buy someone and use them because I have him. Like, now it would be a waste to get Kevin De Bruyne or Paul Pogba's gold card, because then I've got an untradeable Diego Costa just sitting in the club doing nothing. So I might as well use Costa and not have Paul Pogba or Kevin De Bruyne. But in hindsight, I would prefer to have not done the Costa, have the coin sitting in the bank, and just use a different midfielder that would have given me the same output. Again, it's got to be like output versus value has to be a bit fairer. By the way, this game was brilliant. This guy went 1-0 up and dabbed me, went 2-0 up and paused it to try and make me rage quit. I pulled one back. He then went 3-1 up and started shushing me, and then I ended up smashing him. I love games like this. But your question, Georgie, was very, very fair. But again, like I've tried to explain myself a lot better here because I just don't think I explained perfectly well what was going on in my mind before. Genius Work says, Net, why are you trying to justify not buying Team of the Seasons? You're implying Coleman is just as good as Walker. Who in their right mind wouldn't take a Walker? Yeah, I don't disagree with you. The same with Herrera. He has 3 less defending and with a shadow would obliterate Chan. Just my 2 cents. And again, it is a very fair question. I feel like I half answered this at the very start when we was talking about Walker and Coleman and stuff. But the reason again right now is why I'm not buying. I'm not trying to justify not buying Team of the Seasons. I'm trying to explain why I'm not buying them right now. You know, my aim was to, on Friday, open all those packs, hopefully pack a couple, have some fun, pick up a couple of blues on the market, and run a sick team for this weekend league. But because of the fact that A, I didn't pack any, B, I didn't pack anything in general, so I didn't really make many coins off of all those packs, and C, they were a silly high price. What I'm trying to explain is that in terms of, again, value versus output, right now I just don't find them to be value for money. And instead of investing more coins in Premier League cards that will end up being dead weight in the club or force me to only play a Premier League, I'd rather hang on to my coins, wait for future Team of the Seasons, and pick up very similar cards for much, much cheaper and build new teams. That's my aim. But again, very, very fair question. Very fair question. Felix Darlin says, "Hey Nep, I wonder why you always discard the staff members who only increase the percentages of stuff for the better. You never store them in your club despite the fact that they'll only help you. Is there any particular reason? Keep up the nice videos." Well, thank you for the kind words, dude. Basically, the staff members only give you an increase up to 50%. Past that, they're just dead weight. If you've got managers that are just sitting in your club and you never ever use them, and you've already got more than 50% manager contract bonus, discard them or sell them, because you've literally just got coins sitting in your club doing nothing, which is a waste. Then we got... Humongous, great name, and it's that picture of that guy, the social justice warrior was saying that he raped her because he looked at her and laughed, but like, that's another story for another day. He says, "I want to thank you, Nep. I bankrolled on the Bronze Squad Fitness and made 350k, going to treat myself to a Team of the Season Costa." And this is where I got frustrated with myself this week, because I saw so many golden opportunities to invest and to make profit, and I didn't do it because I wasn't trusting my instincts, which is a mistake. When the bronze packs came out, the 1.5k bronze packs, squad fitness cards literally got to a stage where they were not even selling on open bid for 150 coins. I knew for a fact that they would go back up to at least 500 or 600 coins by now, and over time they would continue to go up in value, back up to around 1,000 to 1,200 coins to Team of the Season end. And then after Team of the Season ends and no more big packs really get opened, they will start pushing up towards 15, 18, maybe 2,000 coins. And I sat there and I was like, it's just such a good opportunity to make money. And I said to my stream, you guys should invest in these because it's huge. Even if you bought them at 300 coins each and you bought 100 of them, that's 30,000 coins that you would have spent at 300 coins each. You can now sell them right now. As time of making this video, they're going for 600 to 700 coins, so you'd have made 60 to 70,000 coins back. So less tax, you would have made around 35,000 coins, risk-free, guaranteed profit. So the more money you had, the more money you could make. At the time, I had about 300,000 coins that I could have invested in bronze cards. So I could have bought 300,000 coins and turned that 300,000 coins, if I bought them at 300, to a minimum of 600,000 coins overnight. And if I bought them at 250, 200 or 150, potentially that 300,000 coins could have become 900,000 coins guaranteed profit, risk-free. And I didn't do it. And I was so agitated with myself. But congratulations to you, Humongous, and anybody else that listened to me to say invest in those bronze fitness cards, because you made absolute bank. Now, I made bank too because I opened so many bronze packs that I actually have 300 of them just sitting in my club. So I could sell them personally now for myself and make 200,000 coins profit just like that, which would cover all of the bronze packs that I opened, let alone everything else that I got in there. But generally speaking, I should have bought 200 or 300 more bronze fitness cards, because it was just free money. It was literally free money. Because consumables disappear once you use it, if only player packs are getting opened, like with the 100k packs and stuff like that now for Team of the Season, consumable prices will only ever go up in value unless EA release consumable packs or special packs like those bronze packs that flooded the market so heavily that they couldn't help but the price come down, you know. There's a couple of questions here as well. One of them's really long. I don't have time to read it and answer it. But Andrew Norris says, "Hi Nep, what was your opinion on the charity match today?" I thought it was brilliant, dude. You know, these dudes, there's a couple of really good football players out there. Hugh Wizzy in goal, beast. I thought Peters, the centre-back for the YouTube All-Stars, I thought he was great. Harry had a good game at centre-back. Chris MD is obviously a fantastic football player. Manny and Toby are just so fast that they just cause the defence's problems because they're playing against non-professional players. I think the game was good. I enjoyed the fact that it wasn't as high scoring and that it was a closer game because, like last year, the teams were way uneven and it was just unfair. It just wasn't fun. It was probably fun for Sidemen because they won 7-2, but it wasn't fun for the YouTube All-Stars. Trust me, I know. I was there. I played and I lost and it hurt. It sucked. So I think it was much better that it was a closer game now. And the the Sidemen guys, they had their chances, man. Toby bottled a couple of big opportunities. Hugh made a few big saves. And although it was 2-0 full time, I think it was a very fun, enjoyable game to watch from a bunch of YouTubers, not professional sports players. Anyway, guys, this is going to be the end of the video. Thank you for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed it. And I'll see you next time. I'm out. Peace.